Today we'll talk about the basics of mat cutting to help you frame your artwork. The first step in cutting a mat is to take a sheet of mat board and cut it down to fit inside the frame. Today's project, we're going to use a frame that's 16 inches wide by 20 inches tall. So we've cut this mat to fit those outside dimensions. We've also cut a second board that we're going to use for mounting. This is also 16 by 20 inches. Then we've taken some artwork and we've mounted it in the center. Now there are no rules of thumb for border widths. Some people like to put a little extra weight on the bottom, and most people like to have a minimum of about 2 inches border around your mat. This particular artwork is 7 inches wide by 12 inches tall. So we're going to need to do a little math to figure out how big these borders will be. Over here I've got a little diagram. The outside dimensions of the mat board, 16 by 20 inches, and the window opening, 7 inches by 12 inches to match up with our artwork. What we want to do is take the width of 16 inches and subtract the artwork size of 7 inches. That leaves us with 9 inches. We take that number, divide it by 2. That gives us a 4 1/2 inch width border on either side. So we'll put those numbers in here. Secondly, we want to calculate the borders for top and bottom. We take the height of 20 inches, we subtract the inside print size of 12 inches, that leaves us with 8 inches, divide that number by 2, or a 4-inch border on top and bottom. So we want to cut a border that's 4 inches on top, 4 inches on bottom. Those are our border dimensions, and now we're ready to go cut a mat. We used a Logan Compact Elite to mark out and cut the opening of the mat. We want to work on the back side of the mat board, and we're going to set the mat guide at 4 1/2 inches so that we can do this width cut first. We'll make a mark on either side before we have to move the mat guide. Now for the top and bottom, we need a dimension of 4 inches, so I'm moving the mat guide to the 4-inch mark. And I'll make those marks on the mat board. Now, keeping the mat guide there, we'll go ahead and make these 2 cuts. We're going to cut from start to finish using these lines as a reference and our stop-start mark. Simply hold the mat cutter, insert the blade till it goes to the bottom, and then push it to the other side. When you reach the pencil line, stop and retract the blade. We're now going to do the other side and use the same technique, starting at the line closest to us, stopping at the one furthest away. Then retract the blade. Now we need to adjust the mat guide back to the 4 1/2 inch line, tighten it down, insert the mat board, using the start and stop marks again as our guides to make for accurate corners. We cut out the 4 1/2 inch widths. Now we're ready to frame our artwork. And the last step now is to put it all together. We're going to take the mat that we cut and apply some transfer adhesive to the outside edges of the mat all the way around. This transfer adhesive will help the mat board stay in contact with the mounting board. Align the opening over our artwork, make sure everything's lined up nice and square, and then apply pressure all the way around the mat board to make sure these 2 don't come apart inside your frame. We take this, lay it inside the frame after we've got the glass in place, and then slide in our backing board. Place the clips in place so it doesn't fall out. And there we have our finished artwork.